Mike Stott and
Diana Hernandez,
President of the Cherokee Association of Realtors, and I am, of course, immediate past president. We know that you serve your communities, and we're so thankful for the work that you do. The golf tournament, how did that go?
amazing. So much fun. Everyone had a great time. We had actually record profits this year.
Woohoo! High five. Yes, you guys are awesome. We do that. And this helps protect private property rights. You know, the profit from the golf center goes to the Habitat for Humanity, which are doing some great builds in Cherokee County. And we always want to elevate our profession. And I'll get into this slide of the median net worth between owners and renters in a little bit, but I wanted to pique your interest. This is reporting on the stats in May. We're later this year because I was in D.C. at the Realtors Legislative Conference or meetings, and then I went to Hawaii for my 45th high school reunion. Yes, I graduated from high school when I was 6 years old. So no, but it was great. It was great. I highly recommend going to your high school reunions, especially after you're 25 or so, because everybody just chills. And it's so nice to hang out with everybody and talk story. So I should play. Hang on, I'm going to hit play from start. And we will then get the graphic coming in. Ta-da! See? We make mistakes, and you know what? You just smile, and you go right through it and keep going. Most of your buyers and sellers will not even notice. Median price, we went back up to $495 in May. For the year, we've averaged at $490, which is about 1% higher than a year last time, than a year ago. And the number of sales went up to 393. I really like that number. I predicted it was going to go up. It did go up. Yep. But we're still down about 50 sales overall pace for the year so far. So the number of sales are down 3.23%. And you'll see that the number of sales nationwide we had the two lowest years in the last 30 years, according to Dr. Yoon. And then this year, he's predicting we're a little bit better, but I'm not sure what's going to happen in Cherokee County. I'm predicting we have about the same as we catch up through the summer months.
We need to get a crystal ball prop.
Yeah. So the reason why I think we're going to catch up is we have 480 under contract. Sorry if you hear the thunder outside. But right now, at the current state of the market, we have 1,218 active listings, which are up significantly. It's up 123 from last month, so that's a lot. The median asking price is $580,000, which shows a little bit of disconnect because the median sales price is $495. Under contract, the median sales price is $499, and the pendings are $525. So 2/3 of the under contracts, or 3/4 of them, under contracts are basically at $525. A quarter of them are at $499. That means that the median price should be moving up back to $500 or a little above over the next 2 months. We closed 393 properties last month, which means Cherokee County has about a 3.5 month supply of inventory of homes. Here's what's interesting is 176 are now asking over $1 million. We went above 14%. Of the homes on the market are above $1 million right now.
Wow. And
only 14 closed. So doing the math, the months of remaining inventory is about 14 months of remaining inventory with 176 on the market, which is a seller's market. It's a buyer's market. I set you up.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. That didn't sound right coming out. I'm like,
yes. It's a strong buyer's market, actually, meaning properties over $1 million, there may be some flexibility in it. In fact, a listing earlier that I was following was listed at 1.9. It closed at 1.56. So it closed for over $350,000 less than the owners were asking for. So sort of interesting. Over 700,000, between 700,000 and $1 million. We have 293 active, 62 sales, which is a 4.7 months remaining in inventory. I picked this stat because a lot of our business is 700 to $1 million right now. Almost a quarter of the actives are in that range. Yeah. However, that's a 4.7 months remaining inventory, which is very hard because that's a neutral market. We don't know if it's headed up or down, so I can't advise you as to whether we lower prices or raise prices or just hold them neutral. You're going to have to look really individual housing and the owner's motivation. So a good question or a good practice that we actually believe in is 30 days after it's been on the market, you might want to do another listing presentation and say, this is what the market's telling us. Between 400,000 and 500,000, we have 280 active and 110 closed. Notice we have more active between 700 and a million than we do between 400,000 to 500,000. 300,000 to 400,000, we have 162 sales and 90 closed, which means we have under a 2-month supply, which is a seller's market. And under 300,000, we had 21 active, 15 closed. So we have a month and a half of remaining inventory. 5 of those on the market are modular homes. 7 need major work. They actually say fixer-upper in it. 5 are attached housing. Nothing wrong with townhouses. I lived in one for many, many years. 3 are leasehold and 2 are what I might call move-in ready, but they were both below 1,000 square feet. So this is a stat. You might want to use this page with your buyers, depending on your sellers, depending on what price range you're in. If you have a buyer looking 300 to 400, it's a seller's market. You better march to what the seller wants to do. 400 to 500, or it's still a seller's market, but not quite as strong. But over 500,000, you start getting into neutral territory, and you might be able to make some good offers. Sort of fun things. This is the Georgia Association of Realtors stats. They're a month behind ours. But because I'm later this month, they did have April done. I was reporting on May. You can always click on, that link or use that link to find what's going on. Just for Cherokee County, average sales price, which is different than the median sales price, $534. Average sales price, $472. Townhouses and condos, you can look at it there. It just gives you more information to back up, and they do give you months of remaining inventory and percent of list price received, which is sort of a nice figure. It's about 98%. I myself personally get about 99.6%, so that's a marketable difference I can talk to sellers about. This is showing what Cherokee County is doing compared to the rest of Georgia. We know Cherokee's a great place to live. We love it. And this chart closely follows Cobb County also. If you did Cobb County, it's easy to search by county level. But we're doing better than the rest of Georgia. And look, the gap is going up. Now, this is a rolling 12-month calculation, which makes the line smoother. But the important thing is to see the trend is that Cherokee's doing better than the rest of Georgia, and the townhouses, which weren't doing very well for a few years, now have the same sort of gap as the rest of Georgia. Now, I had the great honor, because Diana couldn't go.
No, I couldn't.
She had a graduation in her family, and it was an important one. But I went to Washington, D.C. the beginning of June, and attended the Realtor Legislative meetings. It's a great set of meetings. It's one of the advantages of being on the board is you get opportunities to attend these sort of things. But Dr. Yoon is usually my favorite session. He was followed by Danielle Hill, which we'll be listening to also 1 or 2 slides. I have about 80 slides, but here's the ones that you might want to use with your buyers and or sellers. We've had price gains in Georgia of 66% from first quarter 2020 to first quarter 2025. Over 5 years, we averaged almost 13% a year in growth. And some of the years were much higher. So if you bought in 2020, it translates to, Diana, why don't you share that with them?
So think about it. If you bought a home in 2020 and, right around that time you paid $400,000, you put 10% down. That's roughly about $40,000. That would translate, so with the time and the way the property values have increased, so that's going to be over $264,000 in appreciation for a total of $624,000. So that principal paid off approximately $35,000. So you would have created your own wealth. So think about it as a magic trick. I give you $40,000, and then out of abracadabra, out comes almost $300,000. So it's kind of a no-brainer to think about, what you're investing into. No other investment out there can give you that kind of return. And I know we preach it to death, but we still have to, because a lot of the public still doesn't get it, and that's what we're here for. We're here to educate them. And these slides are very impactful, so we highly suggest that you share it.
Right. And one of the slides that I'm not sharing, Dr. Yoon says that over 70% of the renters would prefer to own. And that if we're heading into a recession, something like 30% of buyers are more likely to buy a home if we're headed into a recession because they don't trust the stock market or gold or crypto or grapes or whatever they're buying. Bourbon, I think. Lately. But look at this slide. The net worth of a renter in 2025 is $10,000.
It actually went down.
It went down a little, and the net worth of a homeowner is $430,000. I built my forever house. It was a little more than $400,000 in Holly Springs. And we closed in 2018. I think it's 7 years. I just got the tax bill yesterday in it, and it says it's now worth $635,000. So the numbers track.
Yeah.
And I've done improvements to the house. I put in a pool. I have fences,
He's
sprinklers,
fancy.
yeah, and all that. But I've created $240,000 worth of gain plus the money we put down.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where else in America that you do this unless you get lucky gambling in the stock market, because every day trader I know, we were all brilliant for a couple of years and we all lost everything for a couple of years. And unless you were smart or lucky, then the stock market's really a ride. Real estate is consistent. If you look over every 10-year period, including the Great Recession, people that bought real estate don't lose money when they buy real estate, and you have to live somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to live somewhere. So I don't know. You can buy gold, but you can't live in it. You can buy a nice car. You might live in it, but that's not the purpose of a nice car.
No.
Okay. So when you have a buyer and they're on the fence, ask them this question: how many of you wish you had bought more real estate 5 years ago? And everybody's going to raise their hand if they're at all smart. Okay, nationwide forecast with Dr. Yoon. Things going to happen is the number of sales is going to go up 6% this year, which is going to put us like 4,200,000, 4,300,000 in sales. In 2026, he thinks it's going to go up another 11%. That's good news. Get excited. New home sales, they've slowed down construction, so it's going to be 10% of all sales this year, 5% next year. The price is going to go, the number is going to go up. Median home price is going to rise by 3%, and in 2026 across the nation, I think it's going to be 4%. Even if it's 4% a year over 5 years, that adds up to be, with the cumulative effect, about 25%. You can't go wrong as long as it's appreciation. The mortgage rates, no good news here, guys. None. They suspect by the end of 2026, it's going to be at 6.1%. And the end of this year, it's going to be at 6.4%. It's not coming down into the fours, probably during our careers again, unless something really drastically changes. And if it does, then the home values will come down significantly also. Job gains, they're looking at 1.6 million this year and 2.4 million next year. Now, very interesting, Realtor.com came up, Danielle Hill, who's the Realtor.com Lawrence Yoon, the economist. They have come up with a advertising campaign that's going through called Let America Build. You can see all the details of it here, but they've got a bunch of slides that you
Tons of information.
Yeah, a bunch of slides you might use in your social media and you might use with our legislators. If you know somebody on the Cherokee Council or your local legislators, regulation and red tape has caused a lot of slowdown and a lot of increased costs. In fact, nationwide, according to Danielle Hill, the regulation adds 27%. Now, not all the regulation is bad because we want safe homes. Yeah. Okay, so we're not saying get rid of all regulation. What we are saying is you don't need to require the density or the lack of density that we require. You don't need to have brick fronts of houses. They don't need to be an acre lot. And we can make the process smoother. Georgia actually does okay. We got a B grade, mostly because our homes are affordable. The home building components were a C minus, but the total score gave us a B. If you go to Realtor.com, Let America Build, you can check out every city. It's sort of fun to be in there. This looks like it's an A, but it's not. It's a B just because I clicked it so I could see the difference. But a lot of good statistics on the Let America Build website.
Yeah, definitely check that out for sure.
They also did, if you do this website, Realtor.com research, honey, I shrunk the mortgage rate. Isn't that a cute little...
That's cute.
You could put that on your social media. And it talks about, if you look at the website, they give an explanation with talking points on each of these. But the biggest thing is you can lower your rate almost 0.9% by shopping around. Who do we know that are good real estate mortgage people? That's what we want to do. We want to play with that. You can include your loan to value. You can lower your rate by putting more down. Your debt to income, you can lower the rate, and including your credit score, of course, is what most people are told to do, is just improve your credit score. So if you ask your buyers, put this out there on social media and put a note under it. Hey, I'm a proud member of the Cherokee Association of Realtors. Realtor.com is our national association website, and they came up with this great slide. If you're thinking about buying a home, let me show you how I can find you the right home at the right price with the best possible financing.
We just gave you, 2, 3, 4 different reel ideas for your social media. Go to these sites, pull it, screenshot it, do a green screen, and talk.
Or you make a video. Your YouTube channel, whatever else. Your people are confused right now, and they want you to be certain. And when you have the numbers in the backup, and you can refer them to this, so one of our other board members, Clint Setzer, he said, don't be the source, be the source of the source. And that's what we hope to give you in these monthly videos.
Mark Hall says that too.
Yeah, okay. So CE class, we have a great class coming up next Thursday, June 26th. This should be out on Friday, the week before. Bias Override, if you're interested in it, it's a 3-hour CE class. Maura Neal is the Vice President of Member Services. She's a terrific, amazing instructor.
Yes.
We're going to be there 12:30 to 3:30. It's in the Mill on Etowah, not at Jones. It's on Mill at Etowah. Lunch is included, and this is free. A benefit for being a member. And this talks a little bit more. If you have any questions, contact Karen at the association. I believe we have room for about 120 people, something like that.
It's going to be a great class.
And I will be there.
I will possibly be there. I have already taken my Bias Override class, but I may stop in to say hello. And
I already have like 40 hours of continuing education because I just get it. And anything that sounds interesting, I keep getting more of it. Last thing is, we're just so proud to represent you. If you have any questions, you think anything's wrong in this, contact me, mike.stott@mac.com. If you think this was wonderful, it's because of Diana. Go do it. Thank you.
Bye.